Cowboy Stephen Jones says, hey, everybody. Welcome, Cowboy. Good to see you. All right, awesome. Keep commenting. We're going to get started in a few minutes. But, guys, we got such a great special for you guys here. I have Brian, who's with us. Alex D is in the house. Eileen from Chicago. What's up, Eileen? Good to see you. Bill Voss, Maryland. Tim is from Fort Worth, Texas. Awesome. Hey, Cindy Lee. Cindy Lee is in her 70s, and she's made over $150,000 in her online business, Stacy.
Sweet.
Just if that's not inspirational, I know.
Look at it. I love it.
Stacy actually schools us sometimes on what we need to do. So thank you, Cindy. We appreciate it as well. We have Justin from Portland, Oregon. Welcome. Marty's in the house from Colorado. Excited for tonight. Thank you, Marty. Rondre say, wowza. I think that's how you pronounce that.
Ryan, I think you did it right spot on. That's a wowza.
Yeah, that might be my new word. I really like that word.
I like that too.
Wowza. All right. Thanks, Rondre. You just gave me my word for the day. Steve, Wasilla, Alaska. I love you too, Cindy. Good to have you in the house. All right. Let me make sure we're going. Brian, are we live yet on Facebook?
Hold on. Let me look.
All right. You do your thing, brother, and then we're good to go. And
we are live.
Yep, we're live because Steven's commenting as well. Okay, awesome. All right, so we're live on the fan page, right? Just want to make sure we got that rocking.
Yep, we are live on the fan page, and I'll mute on here.
Perfect.
How to turn off.
So we're live on the fan page, right? Just want to make sure we got. We got Rick commenting.
Yep. We are live on the fan page, and I'll mute on here.
There's the black bar, Brian.
How to turn off.
Perfect. We good? So we're live on the fan page, right? So we'll make sure we got Rick commenting.
Yep. We're live on the fan page, and I'll mute on here.
There's the black bar, Brian.
We'll get this down.
Do we get it?
So we're live on the fan page. Yeah. Right? So make sure we got Rick commenting.
Yep. We're live on.
It's all right, bro. If it keeps messing up on you, then just go ahead and close it out. We can always look at it later. You can monitor Zoom, and I'll monitor Facebook.
I don't know. I can't figure out how to mute it for whatever reason.
Got it. I got it. So it's actually running. So yes, we are. Rick says we're on. Oh, and I see us live. We got 12 people already on Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I love it. We can hear you loud and clear. Thank you, Steve. I'll try to bring it 1 decibel down than my usual. All right, guys. Thank you for everybody for being on tonight. As I always say, the most valuable thing you can give anyone is your time, and we truly appreciate you guys being on tonight. We have an awesome, awesome webinar lined up for you guys tonight. And I'm so excited since the first time I met this beautiful lady on what she's doing in the world and everything else that you guys are going to be able to learn tonight. It's going to be very powerful. And so thank you for joining us tonight. What we are going to show you tonight is how to learn how to get your unshakable love, unleash passion that you want in your relationship. And here's my best part. This is my favorite part of this entire sentence. Even if your partner refuses to change. Yes, because how many times have we always wanted to have a great relationship and we thought our partner was a solution and the problem? And so we're going to basically figure out exactly how to get around that thing tonight. And so just to tell you guys, welcome to our free masterclass. For those of you brand new, this is actually hosted by 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle. We are the #1 online business for professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, and retirees. And what we're going to be launching is a brand new product tonight, which you guys are going to get a behind the scenes glimpse of exactly what kind of content that's going to be in that product. And it's done by our beautiful Stacy tonight. And so, Stacy is literally our relationship expert. Her and her husband, Paul, guys, they've been doing relationships probably just as about half of my lifespan, if I'm not mistaken, without giving away my age. They're on a mission literally to empower people to just have an unbelievable relationship, unleash passion, everything they want, even if their partners may refuse to change. And the best part to this whole philosophy is it only takes one person in that relationship to transform it. Not two, just one, in any relationship. They are the founders of relationshipdevelopment.org and creators of Relationship U. They are actually taught the revolutionary relationship development methodology, and they're changing the way relationship is done. And to tell you guys a little bit about Stacy, they are trained and certified by Tony Robbins. How many of y'all love Tony Robbins? Comment now right below. And I better see tons of comments. Stacy is a certified marriage educator, and I love this. I think you guys came up with your own word here, right? Divorce preventionist.
I didn't come up with that. Tony did.
I really love it. Really, I love that word. And strategic interventionist. Now, these are very technical words. I'll have you know. Like PhD is one thing, but this is like a whole different category, guys. As a 6-time best-selling author, Stacy is the most sought-out relationship expert and a relationship expert for Aspire magazine. And after 20 years together, they've raised 2 beautiful, amazing children. They spread their mission around the world. They even have a charity on feeding families. Paul and Stacy Martino live in their unshakable love and unleashed passion each and every day.
Amen.
And while it's great, let's talk about their results, which I know Stacy's going to share some personal testimonials with you guys. But today, through their strategic coaching, their online programs, and literally sold out events, every time we've talked to them, like, hey, when is the next one? She's like, Alex, love for you to have attend, but it's sold out. I'm like, geez, when can we go? Stacy and Paul have helped thousands of marriages around the world by working with only one spouse. And that's the best part. It doesn't require both of you guys to go. Only one of you needs to go, and you'll watch your entire relationship transform. And they've also awakened people to see that the broken old paradigm of demand relationship no longer works in today's world. Through the elevated strategies of their relationship development paradigm, real people are reclaiming their happiness and creating transformation in relationships that totally look helpless until they met Paul and Stacy. And hope was found again. And that is, how did they do it? Through their awesome relationship development. Okay? So by the end of this webinar, here's what you guys are going to discover. You're going to finally know the real reason why everyone who's tried to fix relationships is keeping you miserable and stuck. And you guys are going to find out why that is. And it has actually been making it worse. And most importantly, how you can change your relationship even if your partner refuses to change, okay? So how many of y'all want to hear from Stacy? I want to see comments below. I want to hear Steve. Comment me right now below. I mean, she's taking live notes out. Eileen says, I love Tony. Stacy, yes, awesome. Tony rocks. Says, hello, y'all. Welcome, Yuri. Me. Rondre says, how about the rest of y'all? How many of y'all want to hear all about it? Me. All right, Gina says, yes. Tommy says yes. Tommy is great. Tommy is an ex-baseball player. We got some super awesome rock stars on here. Tim says yes. All right. Since we got tons of yes, and coming from a Tony Robbins, I had to start with, getting tons of yeses for you.
Got to get the yes.
Got to get the yeses. All right. So with that said, guys, I want you to give it up for Stacy. It is
awesome.
All yours, darling.
Awesome. So, hey, can you see my slideshow?
You are perfect and good to go.
All right. Awesome. Yay. Well, thank you so much for having me here, Alex. I'm psyched to be here. I think the only person on the planet with as much energy and excitement as me is Alex. So when the two of us get together, nobody knows what's going to happen. But I'm thrilled and psyched to be here with you and literally empower you with what you want, which is how to get your unshakable love and your unleashed passion, even if your partner refuses to change. So let's jump in, guys. First of all, who is this class for? If your relationship is hanging by a thread, one or both of you has considered, leaving or not sure how you can make it work, this class is for you. If you have a good relationship, but it's passionless, the passion is fizzled, it's not exciting, and you want to reignite that, this is definitely for you. If you're heading for divorce, but you know that you've got to be able to rescue that co-parenting relationship so things don't spiral down, what I'm going to teach you today, you'll be using that. If you're single, but you want to learn what you need to learn before you get into your next relationship, this is for you. And if you have a great relationship and you're not willing to take it for granted or let it slip to the back burner, you absolutely will want to know how to divorce-proof your marriage and safeguard your relationship through what I'm going to show you today. So my goal for this web class is to show you how it only takes one partner to transform any relationship. And I really want you to get the NIC that nobody is talking about. I want to make sure you're empowered to know that. And that there's one internal shift that you must make in order to save any relationship, and show you how the only proven solution that makes that shift and creates that lasting change is the relationship transformation system, what I'm going to teach you about tonight. So as Alex said, I have been trained and certified by Tony. I'm blessed to have trained and studied with him for more than 2 decades now, and been featured by him many times. We've had 6 international best-selling books as well, and done all kinds of cool stuff. And I'm the relationship columnist for a magazine, and that's all great. But what really matters are these amazing folks. We've been blessed to have helped save over 10,000 marriages today.
Wow.
And impacted many more. And that's a huge ripple in the world of what you impact when you save a family. And these are some of those heroes who are the ones to step forward and say, I'm absolutely willing to do this for my marriage and my family, and break the chain of what used to be in the marriages in my generations past, and set a new standard, set a new example, be the example and not the warning for my kids. And these are the heroes that my husband and I get up to serve every single day and make sure they have everything they need to create an unshakable love and an unleashed passion. What you might not know, though, about me is that 17 years ago, there's me and my husband, Paul, from 17 years ago. 17 years ago, Paul left me. So I have not always been a relationship expert. I didn't have any relationship tools to speak of. In fact, 17 years ago, my nickname was the Ice Princess. I know that's probably impossible for you to imagine based on who I am today and as bright and smiley as you experience me to be. I was not this girl. And I had zero relationship skills. Nothing was modeled for me in any of the relationships around me. And as much as my husband absolutely cared and loved me, he struggled with a decision for months. He did come to me one night and said, no matter what he doesn't feel like he can make me happy. That he feels like he's tried everything, but nothing has worked. And he'd rather see me happy if that has to be with someone else, but he also needs to be happy. And no matter how much he's tried, he doesn't know what else to do, and he was leaving. And in a moment of desperation, the Ice Princess Tower that I had put myself in of protection started to crumble. And in that same moment that I actually realized I truly loved my husband for the first time, I had the unfortunate awareness that I just lost him. And it was the worst day of my life to date. And I've actually faced 2 near-death experiences. Neither of them compare to the unfortunate awakening that you have when you realize for the first time in your life you absolutely desperately love someone, and in the same moment you realize you've ruined it and they're walking out. And by the grace of God, I reached deep into my soul and did the only thing I could think to do. I was through my hysterical tears, I begged my husband for another chance. And I told him I have no idea what I'm going to do to save this. I don't even know if anything I'm going to do is work, but I will tell you this. You have not seen my best self. I have not been the best I could be. And I promise you, I don't know anything about relationships. So clearly I don't know how to do this, but I will figure this out. I am not willing to go through life anymore blind to how to do relationship and experiencing pain like this. And I begged him, we laugh about it now, like, you know, I've been half in, half out like this whole time. Just let me play all in. And then if that doesn't work, you know, I'll release you with love. Luckily, being a personal development junkie myself, my solution was to dive in and do everything I could, read every book, study with every expert. If there was an event, my butt was in the seat. I always had my headphones on, listening to an audio book or whatever at the time, doing all kinds of programs. And I transformed myself. I learned everything about men and women and sex and relationships and everything I get my hands on. But unfortunately, a lot of what I picked up and tried was actually designed for couples. And while I was completely focused on saving my relationship, most of what was out there was, well, talk to your husband about this. Get your husband to do this. Ask your husband. And I'm like, my husband doesn't want anything to do with this. He wouldn't do it if he wouldn't come 3 miles within this. This is not something he's ever going to be involved in. Back then, Paul's version of, sure, I'll give it another chance was, go ahead, Stacy, you clearly have some work to do for yourself. Like, there's nothing wrong with me, but whatever. And you go ahead and work on yourself. We laugh about that now because, like, he's the king of personal development today. Now he teaches this. But back then, that was his perspective. And that left me in a really tough spot. Because
Hey,
most
Steve,
of what...
can I stop you for, I just want to see, does anybody else ever dealt with this? I'm just curious, because I know I have. Has anybody else dealt where you're in a relationship and everybody else is like, yeah, why don't you go fix it? Because, I obviously, I'm good at anybody else. Not having your relationship be the best. If that's you guys, comment below. If you guys could actually have your relationship be better and you can totally see it being in a better way. Comment right now below. So, because I think that's really, really huge what she's sharing here.
Amen.
Linda says, yes, I want better. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. Sorry, Stace. I just want to make sure that we were the only ones. Go ahead.
Yeah, no question. And I realize actually that now working with thousands of people all the time, this is a seriously common dynamic. In fact, most often people end up in one of three categories where their partner either doesn't think there's a problem, right? You want more, you're not willing, you're not happy with the way things are, but your partner's perspective is like, I think this is fine. Like, isn't this what everybody has? Like, I don't know what the big deal is. I don't know what you thought this was going to be like. Like, they don't see that there's a problem, so they're not going to do anything. Or you're in that camp like I was, where your partner doesn't want to have anything to do with anything because they're not interested in any of that stuff or programs or books or growth stuff that you would do. Or your partner sees that there's a problem. They just don't believe anything will ever fix it. And so they don't really want to be involved. And if you're in any one of those three most common categories, that leaves you in a pretty crappy place of feeling like there's nothing that I can do. If my partner won't change, there's nothing that I can do, which is where a lot of people are today. Now, luckily for me, I wasn't willing to settle for that. I dove in and I did everything I could. And I knew that if I shifted how I showed up, at least I would feel better about the person that I was being. And the truth is, in the beginning, that's all I had to hold on to. Because if I'm being really transparent, as the Ice Princess, I wasn't exactly thrilled and happy every single day. The truth is, when I'm barking at my partner and upset with the world and everybody's stupid and everybody else is wrong, I didn't really like who I was being. I wasn't really proud of who I was every day. And the work that I was doing was, for the first time, really becoming a version of myself that I could be proud of. And I hoped it would save my marriage, but if it didn't, at least I would love myself and be who I needed to be. But the beautiful surprise was that as I made shifts and as I showed up differently, even though Paul was doing nothing, he was shifting. And over time, our relationship started to change. And it was about a year later that my husband came to me and said, I got to know what you're doing, because our relationship is nothing like it used to be. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I feel like a better man, and I'm not even reading all the stuff you're reading. Now I kind of feel like an ape next to you. So give me a book, give me a class. Like, I got to know what you're doing. And we dove in together, and it was just for us. It was about putting our marriage first. And we created what we now call our Unshakable Love and our Unleashed Passion, but eventually created a mission, because we just can't watch all of this unnecessary suffering that's going on around us with people that, if they just knew what we knew, if they had just learned what we learned, might not be suffering today. And that's when we decided to make this into a mission and help as many people as we possibly could to create their own unshakable love and unleashed passion, because it's not about finding the right partner. It turns out it's a skill set and it can be learned.
Wow. Wow, that's huge.
It's a game changer, Alex. Like, so many of us are brainwashed into thinking, I guess I didn't pick right, or I guess I didn't choose the right partner, or I guess we're not meant for that. No, it's a skill set, but none of us are ever taught. And so I struggled, and I discovered things the hard way through painful trial and error. And if you've been struggling, this is probably why, because nobody gets a relationship education.
You mean they don't teach it at school?
Could you imagine anything more important to learn?
Oh, no.
It's unbelievable. And if you're anything like me, that probably leaves you waiting for your partner to change.
Yeah.
And fix things, right? Because
that's the person you're spending the most amount of time with in your life. I mean, out of everything. So,
and it's also the relationship that impacts you the most.
Exactly.
When your love relationship is in pain, it will bring you to your knees.
Wow.
But when your relationship is rock solid, you are unstoppable in the world.
I love this. So how many of y'all just learned something new? Relationship building is a skill set. That alone is like an aha. Wow. That's huge. Celinda says golden nugget.
Nice.
And everybody else is like saying, Eric says, I'm there now, my relationship. Pat says, oh yes, I can totally relate. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. I love it. Well, buckle up then, because we've got some content to cover today. All right. So after transforming over 10,000 marriages, I'm actually going to share with you right now the real reason why everything that you've tried to fix your relationship is actually keeping you miserable and stuck, and unfortunately making things worse, even though you have the best of intentions. All right. So you want more in your relationship, and you've probably tried a million ways to get your partner to change, right? We get real creative when we want to inspire our partner to make a change to make us happy. Unfortunately, this creates a huge dilemma because we can't change anybody else. And so we end up in this situation where we've got two roads to choose from, right? A dilemma is when you have two choices in front of you and they both suck. So that's what the technical definition of a dilemma is. And what happens is we get into the situation where we feel like, well, either then I have to suck it up and just settle for what I'm not happy in my relationship, or I have to put my family through the pain of separating and ending my marriage so that I can try to find happiness. Both of those feel terrible. And that leaves a lot of good people in a really crappy situation. And as a last resort, a lot of folks will do one last ditch effort and head to couples counseling. But the big problem is that over 80% of couples counseling is failing today. In fact, the Huffington Post calls couples therapy the kiss of death for a marriage. And there's actually really good reason why. See, it's broken. Doing couples work, which is so deeply ingrained in our brainwashing that you both have to want to do it. Like, you have to talk it out. One of you has to compromise. Like, it's something you're going to figure out together. It's so deeply ingrained in our blueprints. And it's causing so much pain. Couples work is actually broken, and there's a really good reason. And it's because of demand relationship versus relationship development. See, demand relationship is the paradigm that has existed for thousands of years. Demand relationship is where when you're not happy, you ask your partner to change. Demand relationship is where when you want someone to do what you want them to do and you want to get to the outcome you want, you use things like pleasing and compromise and control and blame and punishment or withholding, guilt, shame, competing, all of those things, those tools that we use to get what we want in business, in parenting, in love relationships, in family relationship. It's about using different tactics that we've all been taught to try to get our way, to try to get the outcome we want, to try to get to happy. And this is what has been modeled to us through generations. Unfortunately, demand relationship only works when one partner in the relationship isn't free. And for many, many, many years, that was the case in love relationships and many other relationships, that very often the woman was not really free to go. And the man, what the man said went, and she learned to compromise or please to try to get him to be happy with her so she could also get her needs met.
Wow.
And when he wasn't happy, people in power threaten when they're not happy, right? They hold consequences over you when they're not happy. Doesn't have to be a love relationship. Workplaces are the epitome of demand relationship, right? The boss says something and the employee doesn't like it, and they're like, what am I going to do? He's the boss, right? What he says goes, so now I got to compromise. And so demand relationship really only works when one person has the power and the other person doesn't. Even in parenting, as we control our kids and we tell them about punishments and consequences, it's all demanding that they change in order to please us. It's compromise and it's conformity. And that only works when one person in the relationship isn't free. But do you know what happens when both people in the relationship are free? And all that's been done over the years is different levels of demand relationship. Eventually, the person who's also free will get fed up and hit a breaking point and turn around and say, you know what? Screw it. I don't need you. I'm out of here. I don't want this anymore. I'll go take my kids and get my own place. I'll get my own job. I certainly don't need this. I'm out of here. And when that person hits threshold, they will run from you as fast as they possibly can. which is why when you have kids, people warn you, little kids are sweet. Don't, worry about the big kid years, because if you've raised that person under like demand-based parenting, when that kid becomes bigger than you or no longer needs to live in your house, what's the first thing they do? Like, screw you, I'm out of here. Can't get out of here fast enough. I've had it. I don't need to be controlled by you anymore. People run, and you know that because you don't like to be controlled by anyone else either.
That's true.
But this is all that's been modeled to us for generations. And the reason why marriages have been failing in epic proportion for the last few decades is because both people in the relationship are free. Mm-hmm. And so everything we try, and as things get worse, we up our game, don't we? Like, I'm going to withhold now. I'm going to make you pay for that now. I'm going to make you sorry about that. You're upping your game of demand relationship. How much leverage can I get on you to make you do what I need you to do? Mm-hmm. It doesn't work. And it also doesn't make us feel all that great. And that's because both people in the relationship are free, and they're free to go. They're empowered. What does work is relationship development. When we use things like heartfelt understanding, when we create alignment with a partner, when we come with appreciation, collaboration, compassion, inspiration, rapport, giving, acceptance, empowerment, all of these things work to create thriving, amazing relationships. And you know that because you're in many relationships where this is how the game is played, and you love being there. You love being with those people. Those are your favorite people to be with because they're playing a relationship development game. They're not using demand relationship tactics with you. Are you with me so far?
Totally. Hey guys, are you getting this? This is absolutely huge. I'm not gonna see the difference now. Does any of this seem familiar with the demand relationship? I'm just reading. Some people raising their hands. Comment below, guys, and make sure you put all panelists and attendees so everybody can see your comments. Cindy says it gets reduced to a persistent power struggle. Amen. Celinda says that's a Victorian angel in the house. Huge revelation, Celinda says. Guys, comment below. This is absolutely awesome. How about you guys on Facebook? That's awesome. Welcome, Stacy. I'm so glad you're here. Patty Ann says, awesome. And everyone's saying, me. I can totally relate to this. Yuri's like, can we get these slides? This is so powerful. I don't want to miss a thing. Awesome insights. So true, Eric says. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. And here's what I really want you to get. This is not love. That demand relationship side, folks.
Yeah.
That's not love. None of that is love. And yet, how many times in your day are you showing up in relationships that are supposed to be about love, but by default, we're showing up from this side of the spectrum, from demand relationship tactics, because we don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
It's what's been handed down. Well, literally, my family and I, we just watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding the other night, which is hysterical.
Yes.
And the whole poll's like, we just need to show this whole thing. This whole thing is a clip for demand relationship, right? She goes to him, are you hungry? I'll make you something. He's like, no, I just ate. She's like, okay, I'll make something now. Like, what? Right? And this is what our parents did, and with the best of intentions, this is what we all do. Why do we demand relationship parent? Because we're worried about our kids suffering in the world out there. We want to prepare them, we want to teach them, we want to help them, and we don't know what else to do or what approach to take other than guilt, shame, blame, and all of the things that we've been taught. How many of you were taught you have to compromise in relationship, right? Yep. You could put that on a billboard, and everybody who drives by be like, yeah, I guess, yeah, that's true. That is the biggest crock, right? You can't possibly compromise and create a magical relationship. It's demand-based relationship. One person is not being their empowered, authentic self. You can't possibly have an unshakable love if that's what's going on. That's not love. And so, of course, that brings us to that. So you're either building up or breaking down your relationship in every little moment of your day. Most of us wonder, like, how did I get here? How did we get to this place? And they think it's like this one big thing or it's out there. But every single moment of your day, you're either showing up from demand relationship
Wow.
or you're showing up from relationship development.
So you're saying there's no stagnation there, right? So there's no middle. So there's, people are like, oh, we're coasting by, we're good.
Nobody
So
coasts.
either building it up or breaking it down. That's a huge other.
This is planet Earth. Everything grows. Even the planet is moving. Everything grows on this planet. There's no such thing as standing still.
I love that.
Every single thing that you do, every single time you show up in all of your relationships, you're either building that relationship up in that moment or breaking it down. And you know that by what side of the spectrum you're showing up as in that moment. And people think it's happening to them or it's their partner. It's us. We're doing it in the moments of our day. So we taught this to some of our students, and this is what Rebecca had to say. She said, the concept of demand-based relationship versus relationship development has totally transformed my world in the last few weeks. For years, my husband and I have had painful dynamics in which he goes into rage related to politics, and I've been afraid of conflict, so I shrink back, I retreat, which triggers him even more. The result is the whole family going below the 50% line in their state. I decided that this was serving no one. When my husband started to get angry last weekend, I decided to build rapport instead. Focus on loving him as the man I know he is, seeing his pain and frustration that he can't fix the problem, aligning completely with his views. I was able to align, elevate, and shift for the first time in years. He felt that I heard him and understood. And then he was able to hear my perspective too. It was amazing.
Wow.
We were both so elevated by the conversation that later that day, I decided we were ready to have a sex chat that I had been putting off for months. And it was received very well. My husband told me something that was totally off my radar and completely changed my perspective. Amazing what happens when you really listen and keep your mouth shut. Wow. Burn the boats, baby. No going back to demand-based relationship.
Woo!
Wow, right?
Love that. That's awesome.
The difference that you can make when you resolve something that has caused you pain for years is like adding years to your life. It just feels like everything in the world got lighter. And you can do that. These things absolutely can be resolved in a moment, in a day. And this is why couples counseling is failing at epic proportions and killing more marriages than it helps, because couples counseling is rooted in demand relationship paradigm.
Absolutely.
It's all about you have to go too, you have to do it too. Okay, who's to blame? So who's going to compromise? I'm doing more than you are. All of that is what couples work is based in, which is why we call it the NIC. It's often the nail in the coffin move that ends a relationship, because very often people at the end of their rope who are hopeless make that last ditch effort to go to couples therapy. And then when it fails, they almost feel vindicated. Like, see, I told you it couldn't work. I want a divorce. It's over. Now somebody actually said it's over. And so unfortunately, it ends up being the last thing that puts the nail in the coffin on what could have been an absolutely saved marriage and a healed family. And so if you only take one thing away from our time together today, please, please don't do couples work. Remember that it's the NIC. Do not fall into that trap, because the beauty is it only takes one person.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny is everything you're mentioning. I know so many people have taken couples counseling, and I don't think I've ever seen it where it might have helped them talk, but I don't think it really actually, solved the root of the problem, which is cool. Guys, how many of y'all getting value? I mean, this was just the first half an hour. If you guys are getting value right now, just comment below. Like, honestly, like, are you guys getting this? Richard says, wow, comment right now. Comment on Facebook. I got both of them open. Celinda says, you're better than a therapist. Yes, because this is so much better than that.
Amen.
That is awesome. How about the rest of you guys? Everybody comment below. We want to see your comments. Great information, Rondre says. So I've already been blown away. I'm just taking a couple of my aha. So demand versus essentially relationship development, very, very different, factor. And I also just found out why couples counseling doesn't work. And it's actually nail in the coffin.
Amen.
Awesome. Sweet. Better. I've been looking for this for years now, Celinda says. Marty says, I love Stacy's energy, and what she's sharing makes so much sense. It's kind of weird that none of us thought about it. So thank you so much, Stacy. Lisa says, very eye-opening. David says, amazing. Glad to learn I'm off the hook for couples counseling for life now. In fact, I know several people in our group are taking couples counseling. So guys, that alone is a huge blessing. I'm so glad you guys are on. Wish I had this info before. You know, people always say that, Pat, but I'm glad you have it now. So be grateful that we can actually be able to take advantage of it now. I'm in total aha. Thank you. Go girl, Stacy says. I'm not crazy. There is a better way, Eric says. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. All right, so it only takes one person, which is fantastic news until you think to yourself, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the one to do it all on my own, right? So I want you to take away this truth is that just because you will not do this work with your partner does not mean you have to do this work alone. And this is what I want you to get for this work and all other the growth work that you're doing in your life. The key to all of it getting you success is to surround yourself with a seventh power, a tribe that's on the journey with you, the people who will support you, the people who get you, the people who can help you get to your next level, right? You have two groups of people in your life, your seventh power people and your friends and family. The seventh power people are your growth people. Your friends and family are not. That doesn't make them wrong. That doesn't make them horrible. That doesn't make them toxic. They're just not into it. And unfortunately, too many times we look to our spouse, our friends, our family who are not growth people to support us, validate us, be in on our growth stuff, and they're not, and it causes pain. But when you surround yourself with a strategic seventh power group, you'll actually get those results. And if you're thinking to yourself, why should I be the one? Like, if my partner doesn't give a crap, why should I? I just want you to know, like, you and I both know, actually, that this is your relationship, and you either have to live in it or live through leaving it. And all of the work that you're doing is for yourself to be empowered, whether for this relationship or the next relationship, or even just to be the version of yourself that you truly love. And very often people will also say, like, but it's not fair, right? It's not fair if they don't do that, right? You're thinking to yourself, but that's not fair, right? Here's the thing. Whenever you're measuring or scorekeeping in your relationship, you're killing it. There's no such thing as creating an unshakable love from measuring what you're getting in exchange of what you're giving. That's a barter. That's not unconditional. So you're getting exactly what you're creating. You're getting a barter. You're not getting unconditional love from that. And even if you think you've tried everything, if you're still in demand-based relationship paradigm, you haven't tried the relationship development approach. And that is why everything that you're doing has currently kept you stuck or miserable or made things worse. So now you know, like, there's you in the center of that circle, right? You are the common denominator in all of your relationships, whether they be business relationships with your folks, with your spouse, with your kids. You're the common denominator. When you shift how you show up in relationship to everyone else, all of those relationships shift. Can you imagine what that feels like when you're the one creating that change?
It's huge. It's awesome.
It's power. Absolutely powerful, because now you're creating a life by design instead of settling for what's happened by default. You get that?
Yeah, that's huge.
Amen. All right, so let's, I want to teach you this, and I'm looking at the clock, and so we're going to pick up the pace, so get your pen.
By the way, I want to appreciate Stacy, guys. What you guys don't realize is I have nicely asked this beautiful lady to take a 2.5-hour webinar because she really wants to transform the world. And we fit it into an hour just for you guys. So I just want to tell you guys, just right now, guys, everybody type, thank you, Stacy. Thank you for making it digestible in an hour for us, please. So comment right now below, guys. Say thank you.
Happy to do it. Happy to do it. Happy to serve. Just do something with this. That's what matters to us.
Yes.
So I want to show you the real cause of kerfuffle in your relationship and how you can turn it around. So play with me for a minute, everybody, okay? Have you ever had this experience where you were rocking it, you were in the zone, you were having an awesome day, and you either come home or your partner comes home and they're in the toilet? Everything sucks for them. They're complaining the world is stupid and everything is a problem. What happens to your state when you encounter your partner like that?
Yeah, it totally goes down.
you totally end up in the toilet too, right? Have you had this magical experience? Post yes in the comments. So here's
has anybody else done with this? Comment below if you've ever in peak state and your partner comes and they're in a foul mood, and so there goes your peak state.
Right, of course.
Yep.
So what happens? Nothing in your world changed. You encountered them, and that shifted you. What happens? You say to your partner, hey, it's not so bad, right? We can make something out of this. We can work it out. And then what happens? You don't know what real problems are. You and everything's not so bad. You don't know what it's like for me. Why do you always have to do this? Why do you always have to do this? You don't even understand me. And round we go. Have you had this beautiful experience with someone in your life? Of course. And notice how quickly it became personal. It probably wasn't even personal to begin with. What is that? Nothing in your world changed, but all of a sudden you went from peak state to the toilet. Why? Because of triggers. They triggered you and your world changed. Triggers are the most powerful force in human relationship today. Write that down.
Wow.
You cannot stop triggers. It's a fundamental human dynamic. What's the solution? Learn how to harness the power of triggers to get them to work for you instead of working against you because it's invisible to you. Stay with me. When you master this, you'll be unstoppable. You will have the power to transform any relationship. Hence my warning to only use these things for good and not evil.
We got a great group, so you can count on, Stace.
Awesome. You can use triggers to get the response you want instead of the reaction you don't. It's a two-part strategy. One, stop unknowingly triggering kerfuffle in others. Two, start triggering the best in them. This changes everything, and here's why. If you are going through life needing someone or something else to change in order for you to get to happy, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Absolutely true.
Write that down. If you're going through life needing someone or something else to change in order for you to get to happy, you're setting yourself up for failure. And the discovery that we've made after helping thousands of people is that so much unhappiness is tied to needing someone or something else to change just to get to happy. In fact, play with me. Do this exercise. Think of something that made you unhappy in the last 24 hours. Everybody, and tell me when you got one in the comments. Post got one. Everybody, think of something that triggered you or made you unhappy in the last 24 hours. Yeah, super easy. Everything.
Linda says got one. Rondre said got one. Yuri, Rondre. Who else has got one, guys? I know I got one.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Can I ask you a question, folks? Was there any part of you that thought that if you can just get them to change, if you can just get that situation to go your way, then you'd be happy? Yep. If you can just convince them to see it your way, oh, then I can be happy about this. There's one problem with that. No one else was put here to make you happy. No one. There's not a single person on the planet that was put here to just serve life up to you the way that you need it and make you happy. And as long as you're telling yourself that he or she needs to change for you to get to happy, you're holding yourself stuck.
Wow.
It's not them. It's you. This is about so much more than your love relationship. This is happening in your life, with your kids, at your work, with your folks. Every time you're trying to get someone else to change and you're focused on them and you're not happy because of them, it's not them. It's because you're keeping yourself stuck believing that someone else needs to change for you to get to happy. If you only get one thing today, please get this, because this changes everything. The real reason why everything that you've tried is keeping you stuck and miserable is blame. I want to tell you the truth about blame. The minute you blame someone else for anything that's going on, you strip yourself of all of your power in that moment. Because the minute you point a finger and say, like, this is your fault, You are literally telling your nervous system, do nothing about this. This isn't your fault. There's nothing for you to do. They screwed up. They need to fix it. This is their fault.
Right.
And you do nothing, which means the quality of your life experience changes nothing. Nothing happens. This is what really happens the minute you blame someone. You think of someone who's wronged you, someone that you would blame them for taking a situation in a negative route, and you're blaming them. And what happens is you basically reach down inside of you, take all of your power, and willingly hand it over to them and say, I'm going to sit here, maybe for the rest of my life, and wait for you to fix this for me. And you're not even happy with that person, so what's the likelihood that they actually are? And you sit and you wait, and spring turns to fall, and fall turns to snow, and snow turns to spring again, and you're still waiting. And your life is not getting any better because you've made it someone else's fault. And here's the thing. Blame is the act of willingly handing over your power to the other person. Crazy, right?
Absolutely.
You see how this works now? Yes or double yes.
Oh my God.
If you continue to stay stuck in blame, then all the tools in the world will not make much difference to you. I once said this, and a woman in the audience was like, that's not true. Give me all 300 of your tools, please, because I will use them. And I said to her, not if you think it's your husband's fault, you won't. You won't pick up a single tool I give you. Why should you? It's his problem. He needs to fix it. I've seen it happen a million times. And what I'm going to tell you today, because I know you're the ones who are actually going to use this, take your power back. Stop blaming others. Personal responsibility is not a dirty word. Just because it's not your fault doesn't mean you don't have personal responsibility to fix it. This is your life. Don't leave that in someone else's hands to fix. Empower yourself. This is not about blame. This is not about fault. This is all about your empowerment.
Wow.
You absolutely have the power to do this. This is a skill set, and it can be learned. And I want to give you a quick example with Renee. So we asked our students to write in and give us some stories of things that used to trigger you, and instead you used your relationship development tools and it didn't trigger you in the moment. You didn't go into blame, and you actually got a great result. And Renee sent in this story of a situation where her and her husband were supposed to meet at a certain time, and she met him there at that time. But during the time before that, it was 9 p.m., her phone died before 9 p.m. and he couldn't reach her. She still showed up on time at 9 p.m., but her phone had been dead, and her husband flipped out. He was so worried about her, and he just flipped out on her like, where were you? How do I know you're not dead? Your phone is dead. You have to be more responsible than that. And Renee is pretty feisty girl herself. And in the past, she definitely would have completely opened up a can of whoop up butt back on him and unleashed on him, be like, I'm here on time. Why are you yelling at me? I'm a grown woman. But she didn't do that this time. Instead, she took a pause and she thought about what his true desire is for her. And for the first time, because she just took a space within the moment, and instead of reacting the way she always got triggered, she just took a space and chose to respond instead of react, and accessed compassion for her husband in that moment. And when she stopped making it about her and really thought about why is he upset, what she realized is he's my protector. He's literally wired to protect me. He is a man and I am a woman, and he is literally wired into his masculine energy to protect my life. And in a moment, he couldn't use the vehicle that he's used to using to know where I am, which is my phone. And he freaked out, and he needs certainty and reassurance. And what she did was she said something she never thought she would say. I'm really sorry that you couldn't reach me. I get it. That unnerved you. And I want to thank you for being my protector, because I feel safe knowing you're always looking out for me. So Renee said, And her husband is a heated man as well. Renee said it was like I turned a burner off on the stove top.
Yeah, totally.
She's like, mid-rant, he stopped and he was like, oh, okay. And then he said, I'm sorry. I'm just glad you're okay. And can I take you to dinner? And she's like, I couldn't believe in the middle of a moment this worked. After 20 years of pattern, I broke it in 5 minutes.
Wow.
And it truly is amazing. I just want to say that a lot of times people misunderstand what we're teaching.
Yes.
As staying quiet, being nice, not fighting, keeping your mouth shut.
I like the right side. Oh, hell no.
Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not teaching this crap. In fact, this is the flip side of demand relationship, folks. Look at that list. You remember our demand relationship list?
Yep.
If you're not the power player in demand relationship, isn't this what you had to do?
Yep.
I'm talking about not being a better demand relationship player. We're literally teaching you, not about being the flip side of demand relationship and rolling over and pleasing and compromising. We're literally moving you, it's like moving you out of a typewriter and into a laptop. I'm not trying to improve your typewriter. I'm just literally trying to bring it into a laptop and let go of demand relationship. It doesn't mean you sit and quiet and say nothing. Got me?
Got it. And you know what I love? Your Renee's example was the perfect example to show how it only takes one person to transform that relationship.
Yeah, and her husband does not do our program, and he wasn't at the event that she was at when this happened. And it doesn't matter. She literally saved her marriage. And they have 4 children, and they were headed for divorce, and they are rock solid today.
Yep, totally. Got it.
And so now you get it, folks. It's anything rooted in judgment or blame of your partner is actually keeping you stuck and does not work to transform your relationship. And you must master your triggers and know how you trigger others and eliminate that to eliminate kerfuffle. Are you with me?
Totally. I love this.
And this is the real reason. The real reason why this works is because every trigger in your life is actually challenge-tunity. That's a word I learned from my friend John Broman, right? Because every challenge in our life, it's an opportunity, right? Are you going to unwrap the gift in that challenge or not? And the gift in every single trigger, when something triggers you, when somebody talks to you in a tone that triggers you, or somebody says something that triggers you or rubs you the wrong way, or your partner does or doesn't do something, and you get triggered, you have a choice. You can ask your partner to change, and I think we know how that's going to go. But don't forget that if you ask your partner to change, now you're going to go ask your folks and your siblings and your friends and the people in your workplace all not to bump into that trigger that you have around that. And I think we know how that's going to go. Or you can open up the challenge-tunity and just pull that trigger out and say, it's not worth living like this, needing everybody else to change in order for me to get to happy. There's something here that I need to learn. Because the truth is, life is about learning how to navigate any situation and get to happy regardless of what's going on around you. Write that down. Life is about learning how to navigate any situation and get to happy without needing anyone or anything to change in order for you to get to happy. And every challenge that's coming to you in your life is coming to you so that you learn something you have not yet learned. It's your life lesson that's coming to you. Learn how to navigate this moment in order to be happy regardless of what's going on around you. And I will tell you, my friend, something that you already know. If you won't learn it now, when that challenge finds you, it's going to find you bigger, hairier, meaner, and faster the next day. These things don't magically resolve themselves. They don't accidentally resolve themselves. We have to learn how to navigate them. And that's what this is all about. It's demand relationship versus relationship development. It's learning the tools and strategies, which is what our relationship development methodology is. It's our toolbox of hundreds and hundreds of tools and strategies, which are the how for how to show up differently in every moment through appreciating, especially the differences between the masculine and the feminine, which are vastly different, and nobody gives us an education around that in order to be able to live from relationship development and put demand relationship away where it belongs in the past.
Wow. That's awesome. Just that demand versus relation, that's absolutely awesome. I just love that chart. And yes, I actually took a few pictures so we can post this. This is awesome. I'm gonna be hanging this up on my wall. Thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I did it, Alex. I'm only 3 minutes over.
Wait, you're actually doing, I'm like, I actually don't want you to stop. How many of you would just like for her to go on? I'm actually ready to listen to the whole thing. I'm gonna love to just keep hearing this. This is so awesome. Just so many nuggets you just covered in 55 minutes. Guys, how many of you love that so far? Just literally comment below and say how awesome this was. Tell us if you had even one valuable information. Tell us one thing that you've learned so far. And if you guys have questions right now, just type it out on the Q&A so we can do that. I love it. Don't stop. Listen to this. Don't stop. Steve says, please don't stop. Love it, Stacy says. It was awesome. Cindy, our 73-year-old goes, yeah.
Yeah.
Richard says, awesome. Stop blaming. Do not blame. Demand relationships. Totally awesome. This is all amazing stuff.
Those are great takeaways, folks. Literally, that's what will change your life.
Andrew says, great information. How about you guys on Facebook? Let's hear from you guys. What did you guys learn from this? And what questions do you guys have? So here's the deal. I'm going to open this up because we're going to do some Q&A.
Here, I'll stop sharing.
You rock. That was so awesome. Man, this is so good. In the middle of your thing, Stace, just to let you know, I'm like, I literally had to go on mute. I'm like, so Ozzy, jump on. This is like really, really good. For all you guys know that I'm about to get married, this is really, really perfect timing for this, as Stacy reminded me.
No greater gift than divorce-proofing the marriage that you love.
I love that. Divorce-proofing it. I love it. So if you guys have a question right now, guys, this is literally what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and type it on Q&A so we can cover for you guys. So what questions you got for our awesome relationship expert? If you're in Zoom, type out your questions in the Q&A box. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and put on the comment below. Brian, are you with me, brother? I know
I'm here.
You rock, bro. Can you keep an eye on Facebook? And I'm going to start going through the questions on here.
Yep.
Helen says, Helen, that's a beautiful name. That's my mom's name. Thank you so much, Stacy. You just changed my mind. You have just changed my mind. Look, you know what I love? Stacy always tells me, Alex, if I just change one relationship on this webinar, it was worth my time. So you already got one, darling. The email about the seminar came in just the right time. I've been living all my life, living my time for 26 years on marriage on demand relationship. Amen. Things are about to change. God bless you. That's awesome.
Amen. God bless you.
Thank you. What about when you're not kin to anyone? You are your step grandfather and resided her daughter's kids came from babies. I think his question is, now they've all quit school and they spend time at your house and keep the stress level at a high setting. You know, I think that main question, and that's a great question, Aaron. I think the question is, what if you've got, high stress, high disturbance noises around you? How can it be one person that could transform that relationship?
And you don't need that situation to have a high stress situation around you, right? Many of us, we work a lot. We have a kid with special needs. We've got a spouse who travels a lot. We've got family of origin drama that's going on all the time. We have blended families. We have someone navigating an addiction. We've got infidelity to get over. We've got financial stressors. We all have stress, and compression of time seems to be one of the biggest ones. And so it's very true that those kinds of things always make it difficult, more stressful to transform your relationship. And that's when you absolutely must be empowered with several tools to be able to master your state in any situation, so you don't drop below what we call the 50% line in your state, right? You've got a peak state and you got the toilet at the bottom, and in the middle is this magical line that actually is one of the most important factors in your whole life that's been invisible to you up until this moment. It's the 50% line in your state. And every time you drop below the 50% line in your state, you're hijacked into fight or flight response, and you can't use any of the relationship development tools or strategies that I would give you. And when you're above the 50%, you can reach into the toolbox and use any of the tools to transform any situation, just like Renee did in the heat of a moment. If you maintain your state And so that's actually why state mastery is part of step 1 of our 8-step system, because once you can reach for a tool or strategy, you can transform any situation, not through control or demand, but through bringing out the best in the other person, through rapport, alignment, and truly understanding how other people are wired.
That's awesome. Thank you. And Helen was asking about it, so 26 years in a relationship. Now she learned something new here. So saying, how do I start building this new relationship?
Yeah, so it's one step at a time. I mean, if this speaks to you and you want to take this further, I of course invite you to check out our whole toolbox and do our entire 8-step system, which is literally designed step by step for you to implement it along the way and create an unshakable love and an unleashed passion in 8 steps. That's how you do it. And it really is about showing up every single day, mastering yourself and how you relate to other people, gaining that mastery of understanding how you're wired. And then, but it's not just about you. Personal growth is so awesome. Why? Because it only involves you, and that's the easiest thing in the world to do. But you must master those pesky other people that come into our day, right? We have to figure out how to relate to them. Otherwise, we could be rocking this every day if it was just us. We must master how to relate to other people in a way that doesn't trigger the worst in them that we don't want, and a way to trigger the response from them that we do want. And so it's one step at a time. And I highly recommend following our system or whatever it is that works for you. But it's about learning how to show up differently in those moments of your real life.
Yes, and we're going to be talking about her wonderful course here in a little bit, which I'm so excited to actually talk about, but I want to make sure we get through the questions first. You have got to see these comments. It is just rocking. Like Joanne says, totally awesome. Teresa, this is all amazing stuff. Andrew says, thank you for the great information. Bobby says, great stuff. Tony says, great stuff. If it's up to me, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. Really awesome. Thank you. Lisa says, Joyce says, it can be for now, that's someone to give it to you. Thank you for the eye-opening perspective. Stacy says, thank you, Stacy, from Stacy. Life needs some great nuggets from amazing people. My one takeaway, getting to happy without needing someone to change. That's awesome, Jamel. And Celinda asks, who's been commenting the whole night. Thank you, Celinda. You get our awesome contributor of the night. She says, how do I master my triggers? I have some really deep ones. And that's like all of us, right? Because some of us do a lot of these things, unconsciously. So how do we get in an area, Stacy, where we can start mastering these triggers?
And so I wish that there was the one thing, like I could just drop a one-liner right now and you could just master all your triggers with that. But that's actually not how it works. What happens is it's trigger by trigger. So once you have an awareness, which is step 1, like there's 5 steps to mastery of anything. And step 1 is cognitive mastery, or awareness, right? You have an awareness of it, you can see it. Step 2 is cognitive mastery, is truly understanding it. The first thing to do is when you're getting triggered in a situation is to start understanding, why is this triggering me? You can ask yourself quality questions like, what am I afraid of losing here? What am I afraid of being blocked from? What am I really trying to get to that outcome for? And why is that really important to me? When you start to see what you have a white knuckle grip around, you'll start to figure out what you're really afraid of.
Love it.
And the truth is, every white knuckle grip is usually because we're afraid of losing something or being blocked from something.
Yep.
And that's your life lesson right there. So in that moment, the gift that's sitting in front of you unwrapped in that trigger is you need to learn how to navigate life, whether that happens or that doesn't, because you cannot control life. Life is going to keep coming. And if you need life to be a certain way, you're setting yourself up for disaster. So it's time to face that. It's time to learn how to navigate it. It's time to remind yourself one thing, if you'll write this down, there's actually a million ways to happy here. It's a great state mastery mantra. If you write that down on an index card, every time you get triggered, and remind yourself, there's actually a million ways to happy here. It doesn't have to be this way. I don't have to white knuckle grip this outcome. And we have a toolbox, and Alex is going to show you in a minute, where we have an entire state mastery program that is all about triggers.
All right, cool. Okay, so one more question we'll do based on Helen says, awesome webinar. She said this is the most awesome webinar I've ever attended in my life. Thank you, Helen. Yeah, that's for you, Stace. I don't know. Yuri says, what happens when you point out in a fact, so this is just like a specific question, so I think these are great because these are all couples questions we all deal with. And by the way, thank you for asking these questions because we all deal with these, right? How many of y'all like people asking questions and like, oh my God, that's exactly what happens in our relationship.
Of course.
So the question here says, what happens when you point out a fact in a given situation and your partner turns around and blames you because she feels you are blaming her because you asked a question?
And so it's, is this a guy asking the question?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. Yep.
What's awesome is that's such a masculine question. I love you for being so perfectly masculine. Very often that is the difference between masculine and feminine that's smacking you in the face right there in that moment. Because what happens is it's a miracle any of us ever get together when we don't get an education on the differences between masculine and feminine, because we shouldn't even be called the same species. We're so different. It's insanity. And when you don't understand how your partner is wired, here's the thing, it's literally wired into your blueprint to evaluate and judge your partner based on your own lens, right? You all have a blueprint. It's your kind of software of you, how you run your show every day, your rules, your values, your mindset, your emotions, all of that stuff is your blueprint. And you have goggles that you see the world with that are connected to your blueprint, how you evaluate things. Otherwise, you couldn't even function in this world. Well, part of your goggles are, we forget that our wife is not also a dude. We forget that our husband is not also just like a big hairy girl that's making all these bad girl mistakes. They're actually completely different from us. But when we evaluate what they're giving to us or how they're showing up, it so doesn't match our blueprint for the world. We make an evaluation of them and we judge it and we react. But once you understand how the feminine is wired and how the masculine is wired, you can understand it, then you can accept it, that's okay. Not, oh, I understand how completely screwed up you are because you're not like me, but literally accept it, that's cool and that's the way it's supposed to be. And then you can start to appreciate the differences that the masculine and the feminine bring to each other because it's perfect. And then you can truly start to cherish what your partner brings to you as a gift that you actually didn't come into this world with, which is why it's so perfect. And it doesn't matter husband, wife, it doesn't matter. It's masculine and feminine energy within whatever wrapper you come in is awesome. But the truth is, it's the difference between the masculine and feminine. And what's happening in a moment is a man who comes in a logical wrapper. It's like, I pointed out a fact. This is a very logical perspective, but women run on emotion and she attaches a meaning to that moment. And in that meaning, she could be attaching that I'm not worthy, that you're second guessing me, you don't like me, this isn't good enough for you or whatever. And she's reacting.
Hi, honey.
Learn how to understand women and you learn how to wrap things for them in a way that they can receive it. Then you're the hero and it's awesomeness.
I love it. Okay, and one last one because this is a great question. Guys, thank you. Are you guys getting this? This is really, really awesome questions. Nancy asked, do you have any suggestions when couples are going through the home improvement process to get the house ready for sale?
Absolutely, I do. Actually, I'm going to give you my number one recommendation that I give to couples who also work in the same business.
Love it.
It's really important not to try to be each other and not to try to do each other's work. You need to carve out the roles that are perfect for you and your unique brilliance and stay out of your partner's role and what their unique brilliance is and let them rock their stuff. The minute you have to connect and agree on every single decision, if you tried to run a business like that and you couldn't move until you got somebody else to agree with you, you'd be out of business in 10 days.
Absolutely.
You can't run a marriage that way either. So understand that you each come into this with unique brilliances, make those assignments and let them rock it. And there's some masculine, feminine stuff that goes in there too. And I just wanted to say that's also why in everything that we do, other than this class I'm teaching you tonight, my husband Paul teaches from the masculine perspective and I teach from the feminine, because you've got to have it. You just can't function without it.
Absolutely. You need both sides. And even though you're one person, being able to understand the other side is like so crucial. That's what I love.
You'll never get to an unshakable love without it. You just won't. Not possible.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for the awesome questions. Weren't those like every single one of those was something that we could all relate to? So thank you guys. We appreciate all the awesome questions. So now we're going to continue. Guys, now can you guys see the value of this awesome product that we just did? How many of y'all can see it? Like, how awesome was that? Everybody give it up for Stacy or so far. Wasn't that awesome? Everybody comment below. Say thank you, Stacy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for taking time out of her busy schedules. Guys, you have no idea how busy. And think about it. We just finished Valentine's week, right? But imagine if you could have Valentine's every day. And every day you were in a position where you guys could have an unshakable love, be able to figure out in just 1 hour on a free masterclass here. She shared with you guys unbelievable gems that I already know just shifted some of my paradigms just the way I was thinking from 1 hour. Imagine what it'd be like to actually have a course. So what would you guys say if you could not only use this product to grow yourself personally, but also build an online business that's going to help you guys to break free from having a job, spend more time with the family and building a relationship, and work from home. So what I love with what Stacy just said, Stacy just shared with you guys the strategies on how to have an unbelievable, unshaking love relationship. We're going to share with you a strategy that's going to give it to you where you can actually be able to spend more time with those that you love. So that's why it was such a great thing. It's all about freedom for both of us. So we're so in alignment with that. And so we're so excited. And you guys get to dictate your own schedule. So that's what 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle does, guys. And that's what it's done for hundreds of our members. That's why we're the #1 online business for professionals, business owners, retirees, and entrepreneurs. And here's the problem with most online have. Online wants you to learn and then make money. The challenge is for most of us busy individuals, such as myself, who came from a professional job, and our other co-founder here, Brian, who's probably talking to his wife right now, basically found out that, didn't have the time with a traditional business owner background to be able to do that. But so what we did is we made our model where you can not only be able to utilize the products, but you can make money first, free up that time so you can spend time with those that you love. So we help you to succeed by results. Number one, it's about helping you get those results. Then you get into contribution because as Stacy well knows, we're both Tony Robbins alumni. The more you get, the more you receive. And contribution is only half. Like you can have achievement, but then the very next level is contribution. And so you need both in your life to get there. And so we show you guys how to do that. By number one, we show you how to make 5 figures a month consistently in our business. Then we show you how to advance in our leadership and get up to making $30,000 in a month. So you guys can literally do it in a short period of time. And why you do that, the best part is the products are the ones you see here from relationships, investment, Amazon, Facebook. And just like Stacy, we have the who's who, the very best in their particular field in our back office, which will help you guys to be able to do this. So how do we do this? Well, number one, we got an online business that actually has automation, outsourcing, marketing already in place. So for those of you who are thinking, well, how could I start a business online? Well, what if you could start it part-time and be able to build it and be able to do this full-time? Because we already have a done-for-you system, guys, where you have everything in place where you don't have to figure it out because people like Brian and myself coming from the busy professional and the traditional business route, we didn't have the time either, but we basically made it in order to be able to spend more time with our families. And what we did is we developed an exact system that you could just plug into and be able to do the same thing. And the best part to this is we have got an unbelievable community of entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals who have already been able to do this, and they're here to help you succeed. In fact, we got Leilani here, who hopefully, Leilani's an unbelievable story, and hopefully she's had a chance to jump on. I'm going to check here. And nope, she hasn't been able to jump on. Brian, can you call Leilani? We'll see if we can get her on real quick. But Leilani's been absolutely awesome, guys, just to share a little bit about her story. She's had 5 kids, unbelievable, built this business, and because of that, they have an unbelievable relationship. In fact, she met the man of her dreams in this business. Well, we can't guarantee that for you, okay? Just so you know, we can't guarantee a future husband or wife, but we have had a lot of people because Stacy can. So Stacy's course can. We'll show you guys how to build the business side on our end. Everybody's laughing in the chat lines. Thanks, guys. But at the end of the day, just unbelievable story, and you guys are going to love it. But that's our model. Imagine being able to have the products ready to go, all the marketing, closing, presenting, all set for you guys, and you could start at 15 to 20 hours a week and build it up to a consistent 5 figures within 60 to 90 days, guys. That's what you're going to be able to see, a real solution that's going to work around your schedule, okay? And imagine being able to build massive traffic where you can actually be able to spend more time with the family that you love and build that relationship. And while building an online business and setting yourself free so you can dictate your hours while working from home. That's a true win-win scenario. So here's the next step. Get back with the person who invited you guys. They're going to invite you to a webinar that's going to show you literally how our business side works so you guys can learn how to take advantage of our onlines and be able to do this. Herb says Leilani's on Facebook. Okay, so hopefully she can. I don't think we can pull her out on Facebook, can we? I think you can if it's on regular, but not on the other one. Brian, tell her I sent her a panelist invite. See if she could jump on real quick while we're going through the products, because I would love for her to share her story. So guys, the great thing about the on-demand webinar, it's literally there for you. You guys can be able to jump on. You're going to learn exactly how we do this, and we'll show you guys exactly how we build an online business with automation, outsourcing, everything in place, and an unbelievable community. But listen, here's the best part to this. The reason why we did the webinar now, because we literally have a bonus that's going to run out within 48 hours. So you guys are going to want to go watch this webinar now so you can learn how to not only be able to get access to this awesome product that you guys just saw, but also get up to 21,000 in free bonus. Is she on?
She says she has the, there she is.
I saw her. Yeah. So exciting. Awesome. Hey, Leilani, how are you?
Hi, great.
Awesome. So perfect timing as always. So if you wouldn't mind, we've been talking about relationships and this business, and now we got the both of them together with you here. So could you share just a little bit about your story about, why you started a business, talking about relationships in general, what it's done for you, and being able to spend more time with those beautiful 5 kids you guys got running around all the time?
Oh gosh, yes. Well, I missed the first half of what you asked me, Alex, because I was doing all the technical stuff in the back. I was hearing double talk from having the Facebook and the Zoom at the same time. But I think you wanted me to share a little bit about my story and how we've done the business together and where we began. Is that right?
Yeah, I wanted you to share a little bit about, because this is about relationships. So let's talk about the business and then what the business has done, more particularly for you guys' relationship. And
awesome.
Again, knowing that you met your guy actually through this business.
Yes. Awesome. First off, can I just say, Stacy, thank you so much. Like, I was sitting here like scribbling all over. Like, I was like, where's Massimo? Where's Massimo? He needs to come home right now and watch this with me. And then I had to tell myself, I can do this alone. I can do this alone.
Oh my girl, you got it already.
I'm listening, girl. I'm listening. But yes, thank you so much for having me on here. This is really exciting. I took a look at 8-figure, what was it? August of 2016. And it was basically from a guy I literally just met. And in order to go on our first date, I had no money. I was struggling so much financially at the time. Nothing I did was working. I had no money to pay for the babysitter. I was a single mom of 1. We have a blended family of 5 altogether that happened just out of nowhere. So Stacy's advice is going to be like really utilized. So basically, I just thought, wow, this is amazing. Like, he told me about the business on our first date because he didn't want me to struggle anymore. And we started to fall in love with the business and each other at the same time. So it's a really great experience, blended our families, and it's been a little over a year and a half doing 8-figure together. And we have just so much going on with our lives, with the money that we've gotten with this business, in the community, and just everything we've experienced. I mean, I just today, the way I spent my day today, I was a chaperone for my stepdaughter's, she's 10. I was a chaperone at the Woodland Park Zoo out here in Washington with her, hanging out with kids all day, running around, seeing animals at the zoo. And I never in my wildest dreams thought I could do that on a weekday with my kids. And, come home and hear something, these wonderful things from you, Stacy, and have this type of a life where, we think about the money that we are chasing all the time, but we don't think about like what we want behind it. Right.
Right.
And so that's what I have. And that's what I love now, is that time to do what I want.
I love it. And being able to
Yeah.
develop I mean, that's so awesome. 5 kids.
Started with 1 and now I have, but we have 2 in the household, and a couple of his other are very much older, like 17, 18. So it's not wild all the time, but
That's awesome. And I love
yeah.
your setup, by the way. That's a beautiful background you got rocking there.
Thank you.
Guys, just wanted to say thank you so much for sharing that, and for being on. Guys, if you guys just saw, like, what's so great about this is you got the course to show you on the relationship, and then we're going to show you guys how to free up the time so you guys can be able to spend more time. Now that you have a strategy for a relationship to make it even better. And what's so funny, Stacey, if it's the ultimate compliment, even though you tell us it only requires 1 person, isn't it funny how all of us are texting our spouse saying, you got to jump on this because it's so valuable? Like, I don't want you to miss it either. So right now, guys, to build a legitimate business online, you can have it all. And we've got the automation outsourcing, everything you need in place. And for all you members, how would you guys like to have access to this really cool product? What do you guys think? Would you guys like to see it? You guys raise your hand if you guys want to see it, and actually comment below. Say, show me, Alex. Say, please. Say, thank you, Stacey. I want to hear tons of thank you, Stacey's on this, because I'm going to send her this afterwards. I'm going to send her the chat box. Okay, I want to see tons of it. If you guys start chatting, I'm going to show you the back office. Do you guys want to see it? You guys want to see the products? Oh, I'm so excited to show this. Show me, Alex. Please hurry. Yes. Show me. Let's see it. All right, but only because you guys requested this. Let's see.
All right, I'll pop out so you guys have more space on the screen. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Leilani. Everybody say thank you, Leilani, too, because she's awesome. All right, here we go. Check this out. I'm so excited to be revealing this to you guys right now. So if you go in your back office, guys, right now under products, and this is one of our top VIP products, so you're going to find it in our VIP line. Go click on open products. We worked all around the clock. I want to thank Stacey for making sure we had this done in time for the launch. And then if you guys go down bottom, you're gonna see Relationship Breakthrough by Stacey Martino. It is in your back office. I'm so excited. Like, this is part of eight-figure dream lifestyle, baby. Like, it's not gonna get better than this. Now, here's what I want to share with you guys. I want actually Stacey, because this is such an awesome course, I'm gonna have her break it down to tell you guys each and every one of this for us. So Stacey, can you go through what each one of these and what's the outcome that they're going to get? So to score your relationship system, and what is that?
Yeah, so the Score Your Relationship System that we're giving you is actually a standalone product that we've been offering for years. It's a relationship assessment that we give all the time to all of our students. I know you probably think there's a million things that could be the cause of the challenges in your relationship, but it actually just comes down to 6. And there's an assessment we can give you so that you can stop wasting the time and energy suck of all the symptoms that distract you and actually start solving things at the source. We give you this relationship assessment, the quiz, the personalized assessment, and then your relationship roadmap that shows you, of the 6 pillars, where do you need to focus that's actually going to solve the root of what's going on in your relationship. It's a game changer program.
So this is literally like customized for each individual. They can go through this and find out
get
exactly.
A custom result assessment. That's right.
Love that. Okay. So stop losing your crap program. Let's just call it that. I love it.
So, but I should also give you a language warning that we use adult language in all of our programs. I am cut from the same cloth as my mentor, Tony Robbins. And so just be aware when you go to listen to our stuff, maybe pop in some headphones, because
it will say explicit language underneath, but I love this. What a funny name for a course. That's perfect.
This program, you wanted help with your triggers? This is it. My husband and I have actually invested multiple 6 figures in the last 20 years to learn from the best of the best in the world, to literally master our state to the level that Paul and I can pretty much navigate 90% of life without being triggered. And when we do, we're back up in moments. And what we've done is taken all this theory that we've learned over 22 years and compressed it into real actionable tool set that anyone can use in any moment of a day, and put it into one course, the Stop Losing Your Stuff program. And we're giving that to you in your back office.
Awesome. It's literally here, guys. And then the Quick Start program.
So our Quick Start program is where we give you our 8-step system in our program, and we've given you step 1 of our system, which gives you the module on the audio class of Paul and I teaching you step 1 of our system. It's going to be Paul and I teaching together, both the masculine and the feminine perspective. And in this class, you literally are able to create your relationship vision so you can start living a relationship by design and remove some of the relationship by default things that kind of just ended up the way they ended up. You can remove that here, right in class number 1, and you do a vision. We give you a vision exercise and a workbook that goes with it, so that you can dive into that and get that result right away and have a map and a design for your relationship vision.
I love it. So guys, there's the workbook. There's every one of the steps. It's absolutely awesome. And then reigniting your passion.
So here's the thing, we all want to reignite our passion, right? We want to have the excitement and the passion and the pow that we had in the beginning. Listen, it actually can be way more thrilling, exciting, and passionate than it ever was in the beginning, but you have to strategically create that. And one of the ways that we teach you how to create that is by realigning with your authentic core energy, your authentic core feminine, or your authentic core mature masculine. And in this 4-part video series, Paul and I teach you about the masculine and feminine, how those come together, and how a lot of us have ended up in this masculine feminine flip-flop, where we have a lot of amazing women who are operating from our masculine out of protection, and a lot of men that have distanced themselves from their masculine, not knowing how to show up in an authentic, mature masculine way. And we teach you how to do that so you can switch the passion right back on in your relationship.
I love it. And guys, can you believe like that part is all in our back office? You guys can be able to have it right now. So everybody comment below, say thank you, Stacy. Like this is so awesome. You guys are gonna have it. It's literally there. Now, for those of you who want to get more access to the course, now here's the funny part. This is just part of everything that you're gonna see.
Step 1 of the 8 steps.
It's step 1. So you guys can literally be able to just get through it. So for those of them who want to be able to see the unbelievable 2.5-hour webinar like that she has to see this entire thing, you guys can literally go click on the link and you'll be able to go here, click reserve your seat. It will take you there. In fact, there it is. Well said. See, you can tell she's a Russell Buncher graduate. She has pop-ups. She knows exactly how to market. Love you. Second part is, for those of you, now she also made something very special. I told you our relationship courses are all sold out, but they do things once a month, and I know it's coming around the corner. And she told me that for our 8-figure dream lifestyle, she was going to make a few seats available because we are building a long-term relationship together. And she wanted to actually take a few students and be able to show them exactly the value in what she has. And obviously you guys could see the value. So for those of you who want to be able to get more access on knowing more about the course and how to work with Stacy directly, you're going to click on the second link here. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that, Stace?
Yeah, absolutely. Once a year, my husband and I do what we call the breakthrough course. It's a live 12-week course with me and Paul. We can't do this any other time. Like we don't have 12 weeks to live coach and mentor students any other time of the year. So right now, the breakthrough course enrollment is open. You get to go through our 12-week course, which is all 8 steps of our 8-step system in 12 weeks, but with me and Paul as your coaches and mentors. So live calls with us, live in-person day with us, being able to be in a private Facebook group with us, and all of our leadership team that we have who will help and mentor you. And then also come to our live 3-day event, the Relationship Breakthrough Retreat, which is a game changer. Actually, tickets to that sell out, as Alex has told you, every single year. Those tickets are $19.97 to begin with, and the whole course is $19.97. But I've opened up a few seats, and literally we are closing the doors on the Breakthrough course soon. I've opened up a few seats just for you guys because I know we're going to be together for a year, and I want you to have the best possible start where you can do this 12-week course, come to the live event, and like it's a game changer. Your relationship won't look anything like it does now when you do this and you immerse yourself with working with us. And we only offer this one time a year. So if that's you and you're like, I've been looking for that opportunity, we just wanted to make it available to you as well.
Absolutely. And guys, just imagine you're building this business and people ask you, well, you know, how are the products? What have they done for you personally? And for those of you talking about relationship, you're gonna say, well, just one of these products. I did it with Stacy. We went and did these things. We went through the products. Our relationship has been completely transformed. The best part is it only took me. I didn't have to nag my husband or wife. I didn't have to figure it all out with them. I figured out that relationship is a skill set, baby. It's a skill set. So what already from this? So you guys are going to be able to take this and take it to a whole different level, okay? So for those of you who are here, guys, so how many of y'all excited, guys? Seriously, if you're excited, type like super excited. I want to see it below. And so for all you members, this is now in our back office. So right after this, guys, go start taking. You can take your personal assessment quiz. You guys can literally be able to find out more about relationships. And remember, and even for those of you who aren't in a relationship, that's like the best, because how better to attract the best person to you by being able to figure this out in advance. And whether you're going to be a newly married person like myself, who gets to be ahead of the rut, or like Helen, which God bless you, 25 years, and I'm so glad you're here, Helen, and you're going to be able to start implementing this today like it's a brand new relationship. That's what's going to matter. So start going through those courses right now. And to work more closely with Stacy and take advantage of that offer, is she is our relationship expert. Click on the link inside the back office. It's going to, it's the very bottom link in the product to learn more on how to automate this, okay? And I want to thank Stacy for sharing her invaluable strategies with her tonight on how to make your relationship the best ever. I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for attending. As we said, we went a little bit over, but it was such valuable information. I literally could have stayed on for the whole 2.5 hours. And I want you guys to comment below. If you got one valuable nugget, either comment below what you're going to take away from this webinar right now. Like what's going to change for you. One nugget that you got, you're going to start implementing. And the second thing, I want you guys to say thank you, Stacy, because I'm going to send her this chat. And members, start using these products, guys, because this is going to absolutely be an additional revenue stream for your online business. For those of you who are guests, get back to the person who invited you for the on-demand webinar. We have our bonus that will end here. And guys, you could have this product in your back office in the next 48 hours. So go ahead and get with the person that invited you. And for those of you to match, we look forward to speaking with you and to helping you guys basically develop a 5-figure month online income. You're going to love this business. You're going to love the community. And you guys can already see this is just one of the products that we offer. Imagine what your relationship will be like when we're done with this, okay? So with that said, thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited. I'm going to go through the course. And by the way, for those of you who are in a relationship who do want to go through it, I asked Stacy this question. I said, so if Ozzy and I want to take this, you know, I know it's just for one of us, doesn't require both. We can both, just one of us do it. But if we wanted to do it together, how would it be? And she said something that was really awesome. She said, each one of you go through your own course and get your own thing. And then, but you don't need to talk to each other about it, right?
Yeah, and you can both do the course and you don't have to pay twice the tuition. Like both of you can do the course, listen to the content, come to the calls, but don't do it together. Don't do the thing where like, we're both gonna do it at 7:30, right? And you have to sit down and listen with me, right? And then you're elbowing them like, that's you, they're talking about you. You do that all the time. Like, don't do the couples thing. I mean what I say, couples work doesn't work. If you both wanna do it, super awesome. You'll be talking the same language, you'll be using the same tools, but we call it relationship development for a reason. It's personal development for your relationship. Run your own race, do your own work.
I love it. So we're going to end with some of these comments. Pat says, wow. Sheila says, awesome. Yuri says, thank you, Stacy. Celinda says, thank you. Tim says, thank you. Ozzy says, yes.
I love it, Ozzy. Yeah.
Pat says, super, super, super. Aaron says, super excited. Awesome. Steve says, it takes one. You're so awesome, Stacy. The triggering concept is eye-opening. And Celinda says, can't wait to start. And we can't wait for you guys to get started in the business. You guys are going to love this. We look forward to seeing you guys on the call. Thank you, everyone, for being on. God bless. We love you. God bless you. You guys have an incredible evening. We'll see you on the other side. Take care, guys. Bye. Thank you, Stacy.
Oh, thank you, Alex.
Bye.